All right, Craig. One of the things I love about Dan Campbell as our coach, he goes up there, he's honest, win or lose. This time, he goes to the podium and says, "You get what you deserve in this
Whoa.
league." And I thought, man, what a perfect way to say it. And it really sums up how we played against the Panthers. So when you hear that, and you hear him just come out, be brutally honest about our performance and the players, and just, hey, you get what you deserve. What are your thoughts on that and what he had to say?
Well, my thoughts are that's classic Dan Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm not going to say anything that's dishonest. I'm just going to be flat out real with what we have going on. And it's part of what I love about Dan Campbell. I sometimes don't love it when it gives away pregame things like
Yeah. Oh
before a
yeah.
game,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's refreshing to hear if I'm being honest because that's what I saw on the field. And you can agree with me on this or you can disagree, and we've touched on this in other videos, but we honest to goodness look like a team that was ready to just go home before the game started. We look like a team that was too cold, that didn't want to hit, that didn't want to play the contact. The defense looked like a team that didn't believe it could win. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm being totally honest, like it was just outmatched, and it's like they felt that. So to see Dan Campbell and say you get what you deserve, what that tells me is that there were things happening, and you can expound on this if you want, but there were things happening going into that game throughout the week that basically said, we didn't earn this victory. We didn't put the same preparation into this week. The players didn't put the same amount of mental and physical exertion and effort into this week as they had in the past.
Yeah, and you saw it. The Akuda plays sum it up perfectly. There's a guy that's like,
Yes. Thank you.
I want to make a tackle. Definitely want to make
Yep.
a tackle, but if I could
Sure.
do it with just my arms, that would be a lot better than getting, I'm cold. I get it, right? I get it. But you had one team that was ready to go, ready to be physical, ready
Yes.
to embrace the cold. And Jared Goff came out afterwards and said the field conditions were really bad. And that's a whole nother video and topic. But I think that's a big issue where the field turf isn't what it's like cement. So yeah, it's the whole thing. It's cold. You traveled. It's Christmas Eve, and then you got this running back trucking down, coming right at you, and you're just like, okay, I don't want to do this.
I
And
don't want to do this. This
we
is going to
didn't.
hurt
We
so
didn't.
bad.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt so bad. We didn't want to. We didn't want any part of it. And so that's what happens. You just get run over, and that's what the NFL. And that's why the NFL is so popular and so
Mhm.
awesome. Is man, you can if you don't, you gotta bring every game. I remember my dad would always like criticize the players when they'd get excited after a game, and he'd always be like, act like you've been there. And I'd always think to myself, Dad, these guys are on such a high, you have to bring it to the absolute highest level constantly,
Sure.
constantly. If you don't, you will get run over. And that's exactly what happened. The Panthers took it to us. And that's what I love is Dan Campbell said, hey, we didn't deserve this. And in the previous 6 weeks, we deserved to be in the game. We deserved it. We played hard. We all these things. And this, yeah, that's what I liked is I like losing. I don't know if this is going to sound weird. I like losing where there's no doubt. I hate when it's like, oh, that wasn't a holding, or that wasn't a fumble. Or I think of remember the Texans game a long time ago where we don't actually go down when we score, but then we challenge that we didn't go down, and because we challenge, we lose that. Like fluky,
Oh,
terrible.
weird stuff. You don't
Yeah,
wanna leave that to chance, yeah.
don't leave. We got killed this game. Loss. Book it. Dan Campbell said it. There it
Alright,
was.
I got 2 things for you.
Yep.
So, and this is kind of coming off your comment and another of what I was saying. It all goes back to the Jacksonville Jaguars game, and the reason I'm
Ah,
going back to that game is this was the inverse of that game. It was the exact opposite, and we've talked about this. And I think what happened in that game, and it was funny, during, the coin toss, the ref, it was really weird, said, "All right, let's have a great hard fought game." And I stood up in the stadium and I yelled, "I'd rather have a blowout," right? Because I like winning without a doubt and I
yep.
like losing without a doubt. I'm
Yeah,
with you.
same.
I know that sounds weird. It's very college football esque almost. Um, but Robert Smith, and I'm gonna talk about why I like doing it without a doubt. Robert Smith during the broadcast said something that we hear in almost every broadcast, almost every upset, which is crazy to think, yeah, this was an upset, right? But almost every time there is a ton of parity, but he went the next step. He said almost every team is equally talented in the NFL,
Mm.
right? Which I don't know if I fully agree with, but isn't this kind of an example of that? And isn't the Jaguars an example of that too? where they just got destroyed. The Jags got destroyed by us 4 weeks ago. They've won 3 in a row.
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
Like they're doing fantastic after just getting pummeled by us. They look like a horrible team. They look like they should be in, contention for a top 5 pick. But then they go run off a few victories. Well, we've been running off victories, and then we just get absolutely hammered. So Dan Campbell, it's not even that he's saying something that should be news to us. It was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's obvious we weren't ready. And I said I would say 2 things, but I'm going to say a third. I've played in the cold. You've played in the cold, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It hurts no matter how you tackle. It hurts no matter how you hit. So if you're the one delivering the blow, if you're the one delivering the hit, that body ends up being a lot softer than the ground you're just falling on with a missed tackle while they
Right.
hit your arm, and your arm now has a stinger because you got a forearm full of thigh when it's 20 degrees out. It's just it was kind of nuts to me. It's like, and coaches preach this at every single level. When it's cold, it's going to be cold. That's why you need to bring the hits. And the Panthers just did it. So I think there was a combination of things happening there. But I love what you said, and I wanted to expound on that with the like, no, I'd rather get beat big. And I know people are going to be like, you guys don't know what you're talking. I'm telling you, like, that sent a message.
It sent. Oh, it did. And now you have 2 games left, and
Yep.
you're right. Your coach,
One in the very cold, by the way.
in the very right, exactly. But your coach, I love, if you're a player, your coach, you know that your coach gets it, and you're like, dang it, almost, because like he knows, and he knows he played, and he knows that you get what you deserve. I just thought that was such a great line. And
Get what you
and
deserve.
last question for you
Sure.
regarding the game, that I would you have liked to see Jameson in there? Or, I mean, obviously you would like to see him, but do you think we're just playing it smart? It's cold. This is kind of unrelated, but I just thought, man, we need something offensively. Do you get Jameson in there? It doesn't even matter at that point.
So I was watching yesterday. It's funny that you're asking this question. I was watching the Packers-Dolphins game. And until halftime, by far the best player on the field, well, not the best player on the field, the best player on the field for the Packers was Christian Watson. And it doesn't mean that I'm saying he's better than Jameson. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Jameson is as good or better than him. So why are we not getting him play? Why are we not getting him more reps? And then I remember how long it took Christian Watson to even be relevant, right? Like, it wasn't until week 8 or week 9 that he started putting together good games. And even when he was putting together good games, it was still 3 or 4 catches. He just was capitalizing on it because of his ridiculous athleticism and speed. I think Jameson Williams is in the same boat with that. It takes time to develop this chemistry, and we're in the middle of a playoff race. I think you would be seeing a lot more Jameson Williams. I know this sounds weird, if we were 4-11.
Yeah.
I think you'd be seeing more Jameson Williams, but right now Goff is throwing to the guys he's comfortable with. We only have certain packages that we can have Jameson Williams in. And when we kind of get in desperation, I know this sounds weird, but when you get in desperation, all wide receiver, all throw modes, which we were in, we can't kind of cloak and dagger him like we like to do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do think at this point he should be in more, but I just, grain of salt.
Exactly. And it's not that easy, right? Hey, go in and go deep. Okay. Like,
Oh,
they're
sure.
looking, like you said, they're all right. He's in. They're down by 3 scores. Watch him. Like, it's you can't maneuver him like we want to. Sneak him around. I think I'm with you. I was frustrated. Was like, man, let's see him, but at the same time, let's be smart about it. It's cold. There's more to it than just a guy running deep. Like, come on. So, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll get out of here for this one, but Dan Campbell, strong message. See how it plays out the rest of the season. We'll see all of you on the next one.
See you.